All right, we're going live in five, four, three, two.
And we back.
Yeah. And we back, and we back, and we back, and we back, and we back. Yeah. And we back.
And we
Thinking Out
back.
Loud
And we back.
podcast. It's your boy J Lip, TOLPcast.com. You know who I am, and you know who we are, and what we do. Thinking Out Loud, baby. Facebook Live, Tuesday, 6 p.m. ish.
Ish.
And we got the homie in the building, the one and only KaeGee. KaeGee, what's
Oh
good, baby?
yeah, I'm back.
How you feeling?
Can't get rid of me. I'm back. I feel good, man.
That's what we about to call the turbo episode. We had some functional and technical disabilities. I don't even know if that's the right phrase, but we're gonna
You
roll
know,
with it.
hey
Um,
man. Sometimes performance problems arise.
difficulties is the
At the
proper
most
word.
inopportune time.
In the most inopportune time, brother. So we
Mhm.
got two topics. Let's jump straight into the shits. Now, no hot takes, no bullshit, just straight what
We're
it is.
going
I
in.
mean, it may be
We're
bullshit
going
to
in.
y'all depending on the topic, but we're going in on two main topics. The first one, gotta talk about my man DJ Khaled. 4 years ago, 3 years ago, 2 years ago, who knows? So long ago, my man DJ Khaled did an
Was-
interview on the Breakfast Club where
That was a wild interview.
he talked about, how he's a king, he's a breadwinner, he's a don, and he's like, with my missus, with his missus rather. I can't say my missus. Shout out to Mrs. Lip. To his missus, he said, you know what, I don't believe in getting down with the get down on the downtown dirty brown. That's the best way I could say it. Politically correct. The blunt way to say it is oral. Um,
Cunning's, I believe it's
Sexual,
called.
cunnilingus sexual favors. He
Yeah.
said that I don't believe in that shit. He said, I'm making the bread. I'm the king of the kingdom. DJ Khaled, like, that's the whole persona that he's representing to the people. And
Hmm.
he's saying, with that being said, with his wife or with any female that he's with, he don't believe in partaking in that activity. Now I know this is a little personal, it's a little graphic, it's a little sensitive, and people can get all uncomfortable with that. But this is thinking out loud, so a bomb for that.
We touched the
KG,
topics that people don't really want to touch on
and that's the
sometimes.
thing, because we think about this shit. We just
Everybody
don't
thinking
talk
about it.
about it because it's gonna hurt somebody's feelings, or you gonna end up in HR. So with that being said, let's talk about the shits.
Yeah.
So with
So
that being
he-
said, go ahead, KG.
here's the deal, man. I think what DJ Khaled said, I think there's some value in that, right? Now, I don't think you can just be running around here all willy nilly, doing anything and everything with everyone, right?
Right.
There's some folks out here. When I was in elementary school, we watched a video called "Some of Your Bits Aren't Nice," and I swear to this day, I wish I could find it because it was funny, but it was impactful, right?
Okay.
And I think the premise of that video is, listen, some folks out here, they bitch just ain't nice, right?
Mm.
And you don't want to find out the hard way that the person that you're pursuing, their bits ain't nice. This is also coming from the guy, right? When I talk to my single friends,
Mm-hmm.
I tell them, I said, hey, you may not want to rush in anything. You may want to lay back, wait a while, see if this person has any abnormal coughs, any abnormal hiccups. Better you find out on the front end than you have a problem on the back end,
Ooh.
and then you got problems you don't even want to, you don't want those problems. That's
Nah.
basically what I'm trying to say. So for, and again, the spot that DJ Khaled said, different city every night, groupies here, groupies there, miscellaneous women. And I mean, the shoe goes on the other foot. Women who are in entertainment or actresses. I mean, they get their pick of the litter, right? So no, you can't do everything with everyone.
Right.
Where I think he may have been kind of going off the deep end is when you start talking about like long-term committed relationships. I think it's important to keep, your partner happy, right? As long as you're not out here doing anything like crazy, because monogamy is a beautiful thing and a long-term relationship is a beautiful thing, but long-term relationships come with work. There's a lot of communication that has to
Absolutely.
be put forth on both parts, right? This isn't something that just happens overnight. So communication about everything that, the two of you want is important. I'll say that.
All right. So basically, the takeaway is It's between them two.
It's
And
between them two. More
yeah.
important, I think, if DJ Khaled is fond of receiving, I think again in a long term relationship, there's something to be said about reciprocation. Like, think about if you go out to dinner with somebody, right, and you always picking up the tab. Sooner or later,
Hmm.
you're gonna be like, "Yo, pay a bill,"
Get me
right?
decent. Get me
Yeah,
decent. Yeah.
pay a bill. So it's nice to, have favors reciprocated, excuse me, every once in a while, whether it's going out to eat or going out to eat or, spending time with your significant other or whatever the case may be. Reciprocate. DJ Khaled, you wild for that one.
Well, it's ironic that this episode is number 69 with the content of the conversation, but with that being said, I don't see how that works in DJ Khaled's favor. But I will say this: there is a certain stigma behind being a breadwinner, being a superior in a relationship, and keeping in mind that you would not, as a person who is critiquing his situation, I don't think anybody who's critiquing it, and somebody said this online, would trade places, or rather, DJ Khaled's wife wouldn't trade places with any of the females, any of the women who are critiquing her and their
let's
situation at any point.
let's let's be clear, right? DJ Khaled has a bag. He is sitting on
A
some
big
money,
bag. A big
right?
old big bag.
I will say this. I don't know how long they've been going together, but I know in most things, relationships can get stale. You can get used to the money, and there can be an instance where the money is no longer a factor. And if you don't believe me, look at, in my profession, I see things,
What's your
right?
profession?
A small business owner,
Okay.
right? I want to go into specifics, but in my line of work, I see things,
Okay.
right?
Right.
And it's not always my place to comment on things, right? And I deal with clients who I work with clients who, have a certain nest egg that's been established. Sometimes it's not always about the money. Your husband can get used to the money. Your wife can get used to the money. There's going to come a time where they may look for other things. So while, there's women who wouldn't trade places with her now, 5, 10, 15, 20 years, if, the status quo remains what it is, you could hear some stories coming out of the Khaled household of infidelities. People
Yeah.
need things, man.
Yeah, yeah. And I agree with you on that. I guess my main thing is the argument that I was seeing online was there were some women that were saying, basically this is a bad message to send to young, impressionable men coming of age that basically if you provide to a household, you are exempt from having to participate in satisfying the needs of your partner. And that's putting it as politically correct as I can because the
Sure.
most incorrect way I could say it is it means if you making the money, you bringing home the bread, the house is in your name, I ain't got to give you head. And I ain't mean for that to rhyme, and it wasn't supposed to be a bar, but I don't
Ours.
know, my guy. We are
Ours.
where we are. That's another bar. Give me some of them damn
When is the
horns.
mixtape coming out?
So with that being said, you
Yeah, man,
know,
gosh.
and with that being said, I gotta say that I understand the plight of fuck it. No, I don't understand it, and that's why I wanted to
Take
have
care of your
Mrs.
business.
Lip on here to
Handle your
give the
business.
female perspective. Unfortunately, with the technical difficulties,
That didn't
um,
happen.
it didn't happen. So it's just us for a reason.
Yeah.
God don't make no mistakes. We
Right.
here
It
thinking
works in
out
mysterious
loud.
ways. And if you're
Now,
watching this on the replay, you're watching this live, and you're maybe one of these impressionable individuals, whether it be male or female, my advice to you, someone who has been in a long-term relationship for 11 years, handle your business.
well, let's talk about your long-term relationship, Mr. KG. Let
What
me
we
go
talking about?
ahead and throw some congratulations. Got the claps and applause going
I
for you.
appreciate it, man.
How long
11
again? How
years
many years?
together this
11?
month. 11 years this month.
Oh,
Yeah.
God bless you. God bless
Yeah.
you. A couple bombs
Yeah.
for that.
All the bombs for
Bombs
that.
for that. Bombs for that.
And so when I tell people it's hard work and there's communication and things aren't always running smoothly,
Mm-hmm.
it's truthful, right? What's the
Okay.
best way to work through that? Communication. Don't listen to reply. Shut up. Listen to understand, right?
My nigga.
Because especially if your significant other is like me, right? I'm the kind of I don't mind having the hard conversations. I mind having the same conversations. You hear me?
Ooh.
Listen to understand. Don't listen to reply.
Listen to understand, don't listen to reply. That's a
Yeah, man.
bomb. But KG, Time is
Sadness.
limited. So I
Yeah.
gotta ask you this before we dive off. We
Hmm.
got a couple minutes. We got
Hmm.
more than a couple, but we got a couple minutes, and this is important. You talk about your little relationship. You got 11 years. You know that's
11
nothing.
years. Yep.
You know, an 11-year-old child. You know, ain't nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, so with your little 11-year-old relationship, I
It's
gotta
major. Come
play.
on, man. I
Okay.
need all. I
No,
need
no,
all
no,
mine.
no. I
That's
had to
yeah.
shift right now. We did a transformation where I had to go to a special place where I have to drop a bomb and
Right.
become a different person, and the person I have to be is the opposition.
Hmm.
Uh, this weekend rather,
Yeah.
a rather prominent artist slash entertainer named Childish Gambino, aka
Donald Glover.
Donald Glover. He
Yeah.
dropped a video called "This Is
Yeah.
America."
Hmm.
We don't have time this episode to dive into well, we don't
To the
have
video.
time this
Yeah.
episode to dive into the video. But in this video, we're going to dive into the episode, which is people are saying that this man, though his video clearly represents the
Hmm.
plight of a black person's perspective of "This Is America," he's still not, quote unquote, pro black, quote unquote, even a black man. And this hurt my heart because I'm like, dog, how you define somebody by their race and then even reduce them outside of their race to just nothingness? I've heard comments from my own brethren who have said Donald Glover is non-existent. B. Lou, calling him out by name. Other folks I know, D.
Yeah.
Woods, talking about they don't respect or they can't respect a
Did they?
black
Did they happen to
man.
say why?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. They say they can't respect a black man who claims to speak on the grievances and the plights of the black culture, yet who
Hmm.
marries or falls in love with, or not falls in love. That was my quote. They said who choose to love a woman of non-color.
Okay.
That's the grievance. And I personally, as a person who married a black woman, a woman
Yeah.
of color, beautiful woman of color. Shout out to my baby. I love you, girl. Get you
So the
some
lip.
horns for your for your absence. Um, I chose to marry my wife based off the fact that I fell in love with her. I
Yeah.
didn't go searching on Black Planet or Ebony Love or just random African American Tumblr videos. I just had a situation, knew a person, fell for them, courted them, dated them, had a
Yep.
relationship with them, got
Yep.
married, and here we go 8 years after that day. I'm proud of my decision, but I made that decision without obligation for the fact that she was black. And so I
Eight
want you.
years. Drop some bombs for
Here we
yourself.
go. Here we go. I can get you one more. I can get you two more. There you go. So
We in a day and age of 2 minute relationships. What you talking about?
exactly. So with that being said, and looking at the time, we got about 4 minutes, and I want to dive
Yeah.
this. And I apologize to y'all again. We're gonna make it up. We're gonna do a Friday episode this week, and
This
I'm
is
gonna
gonna be
try to get.
a longer topic
It will.
because
It
it's
will. It
so
will.
deep. It's
We
so deep.
we're gonna do a Friday episode. This is gonna be a new thing that we're doing with Thinking Out Loud Horns. Thinking Out Loud podcast. We want to give y'all 2 episodes a week. We know the shit is short already. Your favorite
Hmm.
podcast probably got an hour, hour and a half. We're trying to give y'all these 20 to 30 episodes. So let's start the conversation off in these last couple minutes.
Yeah.
KG, I know that you have a perspective on this. I want to hear it. Go.
So my thing is, I think we're running rampant in a time where people just want to be mad about anything. I'm not the kind of person who's ever going to discredit an individual for, their blackness based on who they go home to at night, right? Because I know, studying history, that certain things in the black community may not have been, and I say easily, but I use that term loosely, as easily achieved as they were in the civil rights era had it not been for the freedom riders, right? Many of which who were white. So I think it's important that in this day and age, especially when black people say, oh, we got to get over racism. Yeah, we do. In order to do that, we have to have people who are willing to cross certain lines, right? People who are willing to go across the aisle. Listen, if you prefer black, that's fine. If you prefer white, that's fine. Whatever you prefer, that's fine. But to say someone is less than because who they decide to marry, who they decide to have children with, who they decide to spend their time with is one of the most asinine comments I've heard this year, right? To say Donald Glover or Childish Gambino doesn't understand or can't really be recognized as black or however you want to put it just because he's with a white woman is that's ridiculous, man. Because if you wouldn't say that that he doesn't understand or he can't speak to certain ideals because he's with a white woman, would you still say that if he was with a black woman? No, you'd be all for it. You'd be saying, oh man, this brother is super woke, da 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 da. So base him off of the content of what he is saying, not who he's pictured with. That's all I gotta say. It's foolish. And you know what? Personally, I don't hear this argument coming too much from guys. Who I do hear it coming from is a lot of women, right?
Black women.
Because you look around and what's the argument here? The argument is, oh well, we have generational wealth problems, and when he dies, the money's going to go to his wife, and she's just going to spend it. And I quote, and I've seen this, and I quote, in her little white community. Yeah, the state of black economics is in disarray, but I got news for you. It's not in disarray because of men who have money marrying white women. That's literally it's a nuance. It's a drop in the bucket. If you want to talk about the problem of black economics, you might want to look at the fact that most black people don't want to support black businesses. You might want to look at the fact that there's probably, if you're watching this, you probably know of a black person who owns a business and you don't want to support them because one or two reasons. You have the mentality, well, if I support their business, that means that's that much less success than I can have. And that, my friend, is a self-defeating mentality, right? Success is not this finite resource. Okay. If I have success, you can have success. I know a guy, we went to high school with him. He owns a landscaping company, right? Both of us are black entrepreneurs. He contacts me because he knows I have knowledge in that area. I have history in that area, right? And when he asks me, how would you go about pricing this? How would you go about quoting that? You think I hold gems from him? No, I tell him, I give him the game because the way that I view it is if I have information, right? And then when you look around your circle, this is a difference. And I know we're running time here. I'm gonna wrap it up. When you look at your circle,
own your final thoughts, bro. You own your final thoughts.
When you look at your circle, right, and you all are holding information from one another, that's competing with your team. You want to get ahead, you have to learn how to compete with. And what I mean, one is competition within the team, the other is competitive rivalry. Competitive rivalry is when you're on a team and you're pushing each other to become better, right? Competing is when you're holding secret competitions. Oh, I'm going to get this car because he got that car. My car is going to be better. I'm going to get this house because he's got that house. My house is going to be bigger. No, competitive rivalry is what you want. Share that information. You have to break down the informational divide that plagues the black community right now, right? We've got people who have done things and know how to do things, but don't want to share it. Again, because they feel that if I give you that information, if I give you those gems, that's less success than I can have. Versus saying, if I tell you what I know and you implement it, maybe you implement it better than I do. What does that force me to do? That forces me to step my business up. And then the end result is you're putting forth a better product for your consumer. Right?
Exactly.
And constantly focus on putting out a better product for your consumer is inevitably going to give you more market share because you're thinking about your client's best interest, not, all right, how can I get, a lot of money off of this? And that's the other mentality that a lot of black people have. It's,
KaeGee,
I don't want
KaeGee, you can't continue because you dropping too many gems. We're going to applaud you.
I can go on about this, man. Like this is something that this is extremely passionate for me, man.
We're going to keep it going, but Mrs. Lip and I share a Wi-Fi. And the Wi-Fi don't let us both live, as we've seen this evening. So with that being said, I'm going to put this outro on. Give them your contacts, where you want them to go, where you want them to know
Listen,
you
man,
at, see you go.
You guys can find me on Snapchat at KaeGee2626. That's Kilo Gecko KaeGee2626. You can find me on Facebook, Kobe Glenn. You can find me on YouTube at 6GameTechs. We do technology reviews. We review video games. We do a lot of stuff. We build computers. I'll walk you guys all through that. We even got another crypto channel. That's Crypto Glenn on YouTube. You guys can check that out as well.
You said the shit. You said about a morsel of it. We know you got a whole mountain left. It's J Lip. It's KaeGee. Thinking Out Loud. TOLPcast.com. Check us out. Episode 69 as a wrap. And we'll be back next Friday. This Friday, actually, coming up. I had to trick your ass, KaeGee. Let me hit it one more time. We'll be back this Friday. God willing. Calendar willing. Life willing. Thank you, bro. Thank you for joining me. But we got so much more to go into.
There's so
But,
much deeper than this, man.
man, but the Wi-Fi is so limited, bro.
Yeah,
And
we
yo,
out.
peace.